So the question is, how did these wayward kids from Northern California become one of the most influential bands of the past few decades? And how did they turn the subcultural punk rock ethic into a commodity ripe for mass consumption? Green Day were born to be.
Oh no, what's it?
My mother always wanted me to be a lawyer.
A doctor.
An architect like my father.
My dad insisted on medical school.
I was always expected to be a part of the family business.
A bank manager.
But I
was born to be.
Green Day are a crew of scrappy, aggressive young musicians united by geography and brought together by a mutual passion for punk.
We are a punk rock and roll band.
They have sold millions of records. They have toured the world.
It's all a part of living that rock and roll lifestyle, I guess.
They have rebelled and they have conformed. And they have introduced mainstream culture to the punk movement.
We're gonna save music. I can feel it.
Through it all, the three young men from Oakland, California have been able to maintain a sharp focus, a firebrand social consciousness,
I'm not a part of a redneck agenda.
and most importantly, a love and respect for one another.
We work really hard at what we do, but we also really enjoy it, you know? And I think unlike most bands, we're friends.
My interest isn't necessarily punk. It's Green Day. It's my band.
Green Day's fate-filled trek to punk pop dominance started here in Rodeo, California. It was in this working-class town, just a short drive from San Francisco, that the legendary 70s punk movement would find its most mainstream revival. Billy Joe Armstrong was born the youngest of 6 children to a jazz-loving truck driver father and a country music-loving waitress mother. From an early age, music became a large part of his personal evolution. At the age of 10, Billy lost his father to lung cancer.
I mean, it was always a struggle. I mean, it's like we weren't feeling sorry for ourselves. 6 kids, single parent, no father.
With very little support to be found from his siblings and mother, the future pop-punk superstar began seeking camaraderie from outside the home. Billy quickly formed a strong bond with a fellow classmate and a fellow victim of hardcore family dysfunction named Michael Ryan Pritchard. Michael, or Mike as most people called him, had been born to a heroin-addicted mother and had been put up for adoption shortly after his birth.
My mom was so poor she couldn't even pay attention. I was neglected.
Over the course of his first 14 years, Mike spent most of his days being shipped between the homes of his divorced step-parents. Mike and Billy Joe found solace in each other. They were fans of the same punk music and ran with the same crowd.
I was never the most popular guy in school. I was wasn't a nerd, but I was kind of more like I was invisible.
When you go to high school, like the 9th grade, they shave your head. Either that or you get your ass kicked a lot. And so, it's pretty grim.
They became huge fans of the burgeoning Northern California punk scene and began buying as many records and attending as many shows as they could afford.
The more you start to think things suck, the more you're going to search for the stuff that you like.
Billy Joe and Mike were also intrigued by punk's do-it-yourself attitude and began seeing some potential for a punk rock career of their own.
Dropped out of school basically to play music,
And that's the only thing. If I wasn't playing music right now, I'd be playing music. I'd be playing music no matter what.
When it's all said and done, it's real and it's been fun. The words and all well done. With Mike making a paltry income at the barbecue restaurant, Billy Joe took a decidedly more punk rock approach to making money. Nicknamed $2 Billy by his classmates, Billy Joe earned a meager living selling joints at the rock-bottom price of $2 a piece. With old-school punk bands like DOA and the Dead Kennedys inspiring them, the two aspiring punk rockers formed a band called Sweet Children. Sweet Children played wherever and whenever possible.
That's always been the sort of philosophy we've always come by, playing anywhere and everywhere.
The reason why we never cover band because we didn't know how to play other people's songs.
In late 1988, the group traveled to Willits, California to co-headline a high school house party with another punk band called The Lookout. Only 5 people showed up to check out the Rec Room rock spectacle. But the show would prove to be one of the most important performances of their career. The Lookout singer-guitarist Lawrence Livermore, who also co-owned a thriving punk rock record company called Lookout Records, was so impressed with the Sweet Children's fresh punk sound that he immediately offered them a small-time record deal. Mike and Billy Joe also became fast friends with the Lookout's drummer, an equally talented and off-the-wall young man named Trey Cool. Over the next few years, as Sweet Children evolved into Green Day, the young punks maintained their creative relationship with Trey. So much so that when Green Day's original drummer quit the band, Mike and Billy Joe knew exactly where to turn. In late 1990, Trey Cool became a permanent member of Green Day.
Are you guys a member of the Green Day trio? I say we always give 110%.
Exactly 1 year later, Green Day released their second full-length album, a much more unified, no-holds-barred record called Kerplunk. Green Day toured tirelessly to promote the album.
If we work really hard and make good records and whatever, then everything else kind of comes into place after that.
The album became a huge underground success, and major labels began sniffing at their doorstep. And although the offers were lucrative, Green Day knew that signing to a major label was the antithesis of the punk ethic. It was a massive risk and a decision that could have sunk them forever. When we come back, watch as Green Day flirt with mass market domination and suffer some major fallout along the way. When Born to Be continues. Green Day, along with Nirvana and Pearl Jam, are among the most influential bands of the past few decades. They have revolutionized rock music, reinvented punk music, and even become well known for their pop music. Green Day's founding members had overcome years of obscurity and personal trauma to become one of the biggest bands in California's underground punk scene.
I knew Punk. He was a close personal friend of mine.
Their success had won them legions of new fans and had attracted major label execs from all over the country. Green Day were faced with the very real possibility that their punk credibility would be compromised by their affiliation with a large corporation.
It's like shooting yourself in the foot if you don't, you know what I mean? To some extent, you have the opportunity to tell people, hey, we have an album out, here it is, sure, go buy it.
Advertisement. Advertisement franchise.
After meeting with representatives from a wide variety of record companies, Billy Joe, Mike, and Trey made the difficult decision to sign with Reprise Records, a division of the massive Warner Brothers company.
It's kind of a necessary evil, I guess.
On February 1st, 1994, Dookie was released to the world. And almost immediately, the album's first single, Longview, started tearing up the MTV charts.
We were looking for lunch money when we put Dookie out. We didn't expect anything. I mean, we've never really had delusions of grandeur.
The massive exposure also helped the band earn some high-profile concert dates. including the now legendary mud fight appearance at Woodstock. Green Day was revolutionizing the post-Nirvana world of rock music, and fans were eager to show their support. They were the hottest ticket on the modern rock scene. But just as the legend of Green Day was starting to build, the Northern California rockers came face to face with their biggest fears.
The hockey arenas are kind of hard to consider punk rock, especially when like probably Bon Jovi probably came through here and played a couple weeks ago.
With follow-up hits like Basket Case and When I Come Around, showcasing a less threatening, more tame version of the young band, punk fans began to assail their former golden boys as posers and sellouts.
You kind of got a bit of grief over the fact that you signed to a major label and stuff.
No grief here. We're happy about it.
I'm not going to take shit from them. I'm not going to take any shit from people that want to give it out, you know. I mean, I might listen to it, you know, take everything into perspective, of course, but we do what we do, and other people can do what they want, too, so, in the discussion.
The harsh criticism was a tough pill to swallow.
But the complaint is not about your making music, but about your making money coming out of a punk thing.
Hey, you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. My opinion is this is what I like to do, and this is what I'm going to continue to do. And if I make money, that's my business.
You don't like us? You don't like us. He doesn't like us. He doesn't like us.
We're not going to justify ourselves. It's not worth justifying.
Green Day's fan base had shifted from punk rock aficionados who understood the rage and aggression of their music to suburban teenagers more interested in the band's catchy hooks and three-chord melodies.
We sort of noticed that the shows were just getting bigger and the crowds were getting really diverse. You know, it wasn't necessarily a bunch of, you know, kids with mohawks and skateboards. You know, suddenly it was like small kids, you know, college kids, adults, you know, all these people just started coming to see the shows.
The instant loss of punk credibility not only made Green Day hungry to win it back, but also made them value the friends and family who had stood by them through their evolution.
Our real friends are still our friends. Everyone that I've been close to are, like, still my friends, you know.
Over the course of the next 2 years, all three bandmates got married and started families.
You know, I had a new baby, you know, it was like 22. I mean, it was like teenage sex pretty much.
I never really thought, you know, much about like what's going to happen in the future before. Oh no, you got a kid, so it's like
you have to think about this small creature that wakes you up in the middle of the night every single night. So
the emotional progression, the recognition of what was truly important, and the need to regain punk rock credibility inspired Green Day to rush back to the studio to record their second major label album. In 1995, Green Day released Insomnia. The album was a failure on all fronts. Punk fans hated it. Mainstream fans were bored by it. And radio stations just didn't get it.
Can't get off the sun! Get it off, son!
The album went on to sell only 2 million copies. A full 6 million less than Dookie.
Don't lie, you hate it, you hate it.
In 2 short years, Green Day had gone from small-time punks to world-famous rockers, but in so doing, had lost their hard-fought identity.
Still I try.
Over the course of the next few years, Green Day tried hard to revisit the rage and aggression of the punk movement.
We're going to make another record that more lame bands are going to rip off.
1997's Nimrod and 2000's Warning were signs that Green Day was looking to create its own modern rock niche, a form of music not restricted by conventional punk or pop boundaries.
I don't really like mainstream music. I never have liked mainstream music. I don't know. I guess I don't like my own band.
But the personal maturation as seen in their music was contrasted heavily with an increased volatility in their public persona.
So, but you gotta walk by the floor now.
You know, you're interrupting me, please.
Get the f out of my garden!
Over the next few years, the band would take a series of dangerous missteps in the form of trashed hotel rooms and physical altercations.
We were thrown out of how many hotels that night? 3? 3, yeah.
It was a tough period for the veteran rockers. their records were performing poorly on the charts. Their offstage antics were turning them into circus sideshows. And most importantly, they appeared to be losing sight of what they truly wanted to achieve with their music.
Just confusing time, and I think you can really hear that in the music. You know, I mean, I think we still managed to be Green Day. You know?
You have to settle the bottom of the barrel. It's Green Day.
But that was just the beginning. In the privacy of their own homes, Green Day were experiencing a whole new set of personal lows.
A lot of things that have happened to me personally in the past year and a half or so, and it just kind of breaks it down to the core of what I'm feeling, and that's about it. You know?
Within a 2-year span, Green Day would experience some intense relationship breakdowns, resulting in either divorce or separation for each of its band members.
I need a new wife.
But just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, they did. When we come back, Green Day's frontman makes a bad decision and pays the price when Born to Be continues. Green Day has enjoyed an impressive lasting power in this fast-paced, short attention span, hot or not social climate.
We're the greatest rock band in the world, in fact.
And people seem eager for more. Their ability to morph old-school punk into a selection of spin-off genres has turned them into one of the biggest selling pop acts in modern music. But it is their ability to make music that genuinely reflects their layered personalities that has made them endearing to millions of music fans around the world. Green Day had gone from penniless punks living in suburban obscurity to international recording sensations, but along the way had paid a very serious price. Old school punk aficionados who had once enjoyed their music were now trashing the band at every turn.
And we don't necessarily want to be, you know, one of the biggest punk bands in the world. We want to be one of the biggest bands in the world.
Mainstream pop fans who had once celebrated every new Green Day release were now completely apathetic.
Did you get my new record, though? Oh, yeah, it is kind of a Sum 41 ripoff.
And worst of all, their personal relationships were starting to become strained and difficult.
I just think it was just more of just us getting on the same page with each other, you know, airing out anything that...
kind of getting off tour.
But that wasn't it. Things were about to get worse. With Green Day's poorly performing Rarities and B-Sides compilation Shenanigans doing little to cure his ills, Billy Joe made one of the worst decisions of his life.
Don't wanna be an American idiot.
In January 2003, Armstrong was arrested for driving under the influence and was placed in a Berkeley, California jail cell for the night.
Find a happy place. Find a happy place.
Billy's run-in with the law came at a very key time in Green Day's musical and personal evolution.
Rock has become so boring, and I don't know, for us, we just want to make it exciting again for people to, you know, experiment and do, I don't know, do whatever the we want.
I've seen 1,000 people that, you know, look and act and say the exact same thing. It's a broken record.
The band was growing increasingly disenfranchised by the American government's hardline conservative policies.
Politics is a joke, and we've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, the governor of California. If we keep this up, we're going to have Ally McBeal on the Supreme Court.
The things that you see on the news where it's reality television and war news and with splashes of Viagra in between sort of come up and just kind of leaves a little confusion.
The Iraq War, the Patriot Act, the protracted fight against terrorism, and the media's blind support of the Bush administration were all weighing heavily on their minds.
Historically, when you have a fascist prick running the country like George W. Bush, it's like making punk rock kind of stronger because people are more pissed off.
They were angry, and with anger came purpose.
Hey, can you hear the sound of hysteria? The subliminal mind, America.
These unilateral actions at the highest level of government and media had fueled Green Day's fire and had given them a passion to pursue justice.
it's better to take action and stand up for what you believe in, and we still believe in it today. You know, anything that we're against, we'll still stand for that.
Hopefully he'll be put on trial for war crimes.
He certainly doesn't represent the majority of intelligent Americans.
In September 2004, Green Day released their first original offering in 5 years, a concept album called American Idiot.
We just wanted to have something that was like strong in concept and something that nobody's doing right now.
The album's social commentary and catchy guitar-driven tracks struck a massive chord with audiences. The album wasn't only a chart topper and #1 seller, it was also an overwhelming critical success, something Green Day hadn't experienced since their pre-major label days.
It's that same sort of feeling times 10. You know, there's like times 10 the excitement, it's times 10 the fear.
We might be a little out of our minds at times, but we're smart.
American Idiot's political content proved to be a huge personal milestone for the band. They had been shunned by punk audiences and had been forced to find their own voice in the world of mainstream pop.
We're the other side, we're the opposition.
I walk alone. And now, after a few hits and many misses, it appeared that Green Day had found a healthy mix between their brand of rock music and the ideals of punk's fight the establishment ethic. And while punk and mainstream redemption were tasty pills to swallow, American Idiot represented much more to the longtime friends and bandmates.
We always wanted to make songs that were timeless to us, that we could always play.
This band fears being bored, you know? We really always want to challenge ourselves as musicians and individuals and manage to somehow have fun and get drunk in between.
Not only had Green Day resurfaced as a viable pop rock entity, they were also now effecting a lasting change within the fabric of contemporary society.
We just really want to just live up to our own ambition as far as creativity.
Over the course of the past 2 decades, Green Day have evolved from do-it-yourself punk to mainstream pop icons to culturally relevant social activists.
No matter what trends or anything like that, Green Day has always been able to stay relevant.
They have successfully revived the 70s punk movement and have changed the landscape of post-Nirvana rock. They have become husbands and fathers. They have loved and they have lost.
To do it once now or do it never. Eventually, within a couple of years, you'll have a hell of a story to tell.
But through it all, the 3 young punks from Northern California have managed to maintain a solid emotional and professional connection to one another. Green Day was born to be.
Never jack off a cactus because you'll only hurt your hand and the cactus will feel.
We're better than the Beatles. I mean,
I got struck by lightning before I went on stage.
Good.
It's kind of cool.
I'm a freak, motherfucker. Let's get it on. Damn, something.
That was me. Sorry.
Too bad you can't get farts on video, because this one's really good.
It would be like, you'd see like all green. When I went into a mall, and all these people were all, freak, homo, freak, and I was like, yeah, right on. It's been a while since I've been considered a freak.
When you're a master of your craft, you can do anything, basically.